Okay, let's use our mask as a starting point for our drawing. Today we're just going to focus on the features of the eyes, all the different parts, and how to go about drawing them and shading them. This guy behind his mask looks pretty bored, and there can be other ways of representing an emotion on a face, and boredom is just one of them. Although boredom might be one of those emotions that you're feeling quite a lot right now. Remember that when you make an eye, it doesn't have to be round, but they're called eyeballs for a reason, and you have eyelids that wrap across them. You have a top lid that curves upwards and over, and a bottom lid that curves downwards and over. There's the white part of the eye, and inside of that you have a round circle called the iris. That's the colored part. Iris means rainbow. And inside that you have a hole, which is called a pupil. Pupil really means doll. It could refer to the small doll-like reflection that people see in one another's eyes. So a lid wrapping across on the top, a lid wrapping across on the bottom, a round iris, and a round pupil inside of that. The smaller mark you see me putting here and there can represent the light reflected off the wet surface of the eye. Your nose is the most prominent feature on your face. I'll just make it stick out there. And brows have a lot to do with how emotion is shown. Here, these eyes, these brows, look kind of sad and low energy. Now I'm going to use hatching and cross-hatching to kind of create the illusion of these being eyeballs. I might go into the pupil and darken it. It's a hole after all, looking into the dark interior of the eye. And if that's what we see, that's what we'll draw. I'll carefully use my marker to place my color just where it needs to be. I might leave a little extra reflection here and there if I think that makes it look more lifelike. The lines in the iris radiate outwards. Placed close together, they resemble the hatched lines that we often use for shading. So the pupil would be very, very dark, black, a very low value. The iris could be brown, or gray, or green, or hazel, or maybe some combination of all of those things. So its value will be lighter than the pupil. Believe it or not, the top lid throws a shadow down on the surface of the eye, and I'll represent that shadow thrown down by the top lid there. And because the eyeball is round, we can use hatch lines coming in from the corners of each lid to suggest shade coming in from the side, like you would shade a ball. The same would be true of the white part, the sclera. It would have shadow coming in from the side too. Little cross-hatching now and again to deepen those shadows when they need to be deepened. Maybe a little texture here in the brow. Texture is the way a surface feels or looks like it should feel. I'll put a little shadow under the nose. Maybe a little crow's feet. Maybe a little shine right there. And there you have it. Your souvenir of your mask. Now you try.